I'm good.
Hey, Tyler Winters here with Total Pro Roofing out here on the Teng's roof. We've got the claim number is 1188J471D. The temperature at the time of this repair attempt has been, it's notated on here, 75 degrees. We've got quite a few shingles that have been damaged on this roof. Just give it a quick pan so you can see even in this one facet down into this intersecting one here. So we're going to be doing a repair attempt on the front facet and also on this right facing facet. The rear slope has already been bought. A couple of things to identify, come here really quick.
Yes, sir.
We got some complexities to the way the roof is constructed where it got a hip system. So these hips are going to overlap. We got to have overlap of 6 inches there. With the underlayment, the same thing on these ridges as well. So the already doing the full back slope is going to impact this. So we'll talk about that and notate that later on. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and do an attempt to repair this shingle and document what impact it has and everything. So we're going to get started. First thing that I like to do is break the seal of the shingles right above it to see if that gives me an idea of where we're working. So this is the end of this shingle here. So this shingle, just to outline and visualize which shingle we're going to be removing, is this 3-tab right here. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we break all the tabs free, just gently breaking that adhesion strip there to be able to lift that shingle out when we need to. We're doing this as delicately as possible. Kind of checking out where our nails are located that we're going to be removing to get this nail or this system removed. And I'm also going to go ahead and break the seals of 2 rows above, because in the installation of this shingle we drive nails through the nail fastening pattern, but also there's a headlap nail that's being driven in because of the shingle being installed above it. So we will have to remove that row of shingles or nails as well. Alright, so we got that done. The first thing we're going to do is start removing some nails now, as gently as possible. Obviously we've already got some pull through from where that nail had already previously blown through due to the wind damage. Again, one thing that I like to notate, we're not over manipulating any of these shingles. You can see that I've just got this lifted enough for clearance to be able to see where that nail is going to be coming out of and to pop that nail free. We're going to repeat that for all the nails in this shingle first. We want to make sure that comes back through the same hole, doesn't blow through another part of the shingle. Like the nails here. Usually we're going to see 4 nails as common practice in installation of these. This one does have 4 per shingle as well. And just to show you why we did have to remove that second nail line, when we give this a gentle tug, you can see it's not going to come out yet. So one thing that I like to notate while we're doing these as well is the actual shingles around it. They're going to be, handled and everything as well. So should break up right there. Yep. So right here is one shingle that we've had to kind of disrupt and move around things within. Second one here, and then a third one here above it because of the headlaps that we're going to have to be removing as well. So at minimum, touching one shingle has an impact at this situation of, the 3 shingles around it. So just always like to notate that as we're rolling. So let me go back, get those headlaps, nails removed. When I'm doing these, I like to go through from the bottom, from the shingle we're removing up underneath it. That prevents that nail from pulling through. Make sure that we get a clean, the best we can, clean removal of the fasteners. Again, same thing, just gently lifting enough to be able to see where those nails are driven in at from the shingles around it. Go ahead and get rid of both of these right there. There we go. Alright, so we should slide right up. Perfect. We're going to notate a few things while we got that shingle removed. First of all, we want to take a look at the deck here. First thing that I notate right away is that we've got this underlayment driven with staples. more instances of it right over here just to be able to show the camera there. You got that. So when we're installing, we need to be doing it to standard code building practices of both the code requirements and the shingle manufacturers, because that's kind of who we adhere to within our situations when we're doing repairs. Going back with a cap nail would be the most proficient way to keep water intrusion out of this roofing system, but we always like to notate that that did have staples from the previous install. It's got 15-pound felt paper attached to the deck there. Other than that, we've got a good nailable surface to go ahead and do a repair. So we're going to take a new shingle. One thing to notate, the color's going to be a little bit different. We're not worried about that. We're not a matching state from that standpoint. But the most important thing is making sure that these shingles line up, and which they do. Standard size 3-tab, so no issues with that. So it's acceptable for this repair to just look at the damages that it could or could not, could occur or could not occur, and we'll see what happens. But we're going to start by sliding that shingle up into where it's going to be going. Make sure we got that exposure correct. Don't want to have it overexposed or underexposed. There we go. All right, for these repairs, we're going to use a hand-driven nailing system. We're going to go same back with four nails per shingle, using a standard 1¼ nail. Common practice on these hand-driven repairs. I'm going to show you a little bit with the hammer too, just kind of what we're dealing with once I get a few of these nails out here. Beautiful, 4 of those. Alright, standard roofer's hammer as well. This is what everybody's using for these repairs. Magnet tip to be able to drive nails flush, all that good stuff. It's a hatchet style roofing hammer, most standard hammer in the industry. One thing that I always show before I even do these repairs or drive a single nail is that we've got to be able to adequately drive a nail head flush through this nail line in these shingles. For us to do that, it's going to involve us lifting that shingle. We're not going to be over manipulating it or anything like that, but if you'll kind of get to the side right here, I've got to have a minimum clearance of that to even drive that nail head flush. If I'm coming down any less than that, I'm going to mechanically damage the shingle above it. So I've got to have clearance to drive that nail head flush. So I always like to notate that before we get rolling. We're going 4 nails per shingle. Again, we got to also go back and reinstall the nails that were removed from the headlap. So we'll do that next. Same situation there, 4 nails per shingle. Alright, then the final step, we want to take a brush, a rag, a glove, something of the sort, because as we've lifted those shingles, it does disseat granules in that are going to be embedded that are technically already washed out and could fail. So we're just going to take a gentle brush across there. Again, we're not wiping it crazy or anything like that, just making sure we got everything free of like what could have been seated in there. And we do have some failures to notate. It's a little bit darker shingle, but we've got some stress fracturing that happened along here due to being able to install those nails properly. A little bit there, and sorry about that, a little bit here as well. And so the big thing to keep in mind that when we're working and doing a repair in an independent situation like this in the field, we're going to be working with the shingles around that area. And when we're doing that, we've got to be able to adequately lift and manipulate the shingles. This is just for one repair area. Again, on this one slope, we notated this one that we just had to do the repair on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, on this one facet of the front facing slope, there's still 9 shingles to be repaired. And when you think about the minimum expectation of touching 3 to 4 shingles on every single repair, you're creating larger damage areas to isolate that repair. So because of that, because the damage that did occur is from this granular loss, from the damage of having to lift these just as gently as we did, this repair attempt has failed.